I think Carlos Corberan is the best manager working in the Championship right now. How he's currently got West Brom playing, what he's achieved during his career so far, on the budgets that he's been given. And you know what? It's probably quite a popular opinion as well. Corberan currently has West Brom absolutely flying in the Championship, and I thought we'd use today's video as a focus on West Brom, what he's achieved so far, and what West Brom could potentially go on to achieve this season as well. Now, it's no secret, it has been an absolutely flying start to the new campaign for the Baggies. 5 games played, 4 wins, 1 draw. They're top of the table with 13 points, and albeit it is very early days, but we've got a decent amount of evidence now on what Corberan is, what his West Brom sides are capable of doing. You know, we saw last season a really consistent outfit, and they absolutely have to be taken seriously this season in terms of their potential promotion credentials. Now, in terms of Corberan himself, this is his record in the Championship since his 2nd season in charge of Huddersfield Town, averaging 1.75 points per game. In the Championship, there's only Scott Parker, Paul Heckingbottom and Daniel Farke who boast a better record than that, and obviously all 3 of these managers have been in charge of Year 1 parachute teams, which Corberan hasn't had the luxury of. It is early days to be looking into the underlying stats and things like that, but already West Brom are emerging as one of the strongest teams in the Championship. They've been the 3rd most creative side so far this season based on the XG numbers. Only Millwall and Middlesbrough above them currently. They've scored 9 goals from an XG of 8.3. Defensively, they've been really solid up until this point, not giving away a great deal of chances to the opposition. They've only conceded an XG of 4.5. Impressively, though, have only actually conceded 2 goals so far this season, which is really impressive. Statistically, they have had the strongest defence in the league so far this season, and I see no reason why that should change. I do think it is especially impressive, though, the fact that they do have such a solid defence still, despite losing the likes of Kipre and Yukoslu in the summer, who are obviously vital components of that side from last season. Worth mentioning, though, they do have one of the best goalkeepers in the Championship in Alex Palmer. So far this season, he's had the 3rd best save percentage of any Championship shot stopper, with a save rate of 81.8%. Last season, he was obviously one of the best keepers in the Championship as well for keeping the ball out. And then when you look at the opposite end of the pitch, you've got someone like Josh Maja, who's just caught absolute fire at the start of the season. No player in the Championship has scored more goals than Maja so far. 5 goals in his first 5 matches. A goal conversion rate of 36%. Obviously started the season on fire with that hat-trick at QPR, but he's continued that momentum since. And when you consider as well, they've still got Daryl Dike to throw back into the equation when he can eventually regain fitness and get over that injury. He's missed West Brom's last 24 matches through injury. I think one of the most impressive things with Corberan and the job he's been able to do at West Brom so far this season is how much he's had to work within his means at the Baggies. In terms of arrivals departure since Corberan initially came in to West Brom, the Baggies have made way more money than they've actually spent themselves on transfer fees. The most expensive arrival of the Corberan era at West Brom has been Mikey Johnston, who obviously had a really good loan spell last season, but apart from that, there's really not been any crazy transfer fees spent on any player at West Brom in the last 3 seasons, to be honest with you, and they've made considerable amounts on the likes of Brandon Thomas-Asante, Yukoslu, Connor Townsend. Dara O'Shea last season went out for a big figure, Taylor Gardner-Hickman as well. And then you also consider someone like Kipre, who they lost on a free transfer, who was an absolutely integral part of that squad from last season. They've been really quite clever in the transfer market. Obviously, in terms of budgets and everything else like that, it would be foolish to suggest that West Brom are, you know, one of the smaller clubs financially in the Championship or anything like that, because in terms of wages, they are one of the bigger spenders. This was taken from the summer. It's an estimation of all the Championship clubs' wage bills. Is worth stressing, I believe this article came out before West Brom sold Yukoslu and a few others as well, so I would expect the wage bill to be a little bit down from this point. But generally speaking, West Brom do have a wage bill that is reflective of a sort of top 6 club, but they certainly don't spend money in that way. What I think every West Brom fan would agree with, though, is this is a really strong starting 11, and even looking at some of their bench options right now, I think their squad is looking pretty healthy, even with some of the players they lost in the summer. What's been really impressive from a neutral's point of view, looking at West Brom from afar so far this season, is just how settled that starting 11 seems to be right now. In all 5 of their opening matches, Corberan hasn't changed the starting 11 whatsoever, and I think that's a real recipe for success, especially when you consider some of the players they've still got to throw into the mix as well. You know, Mikey Johnson, their most exciting addition from the summer, not started the game so far this season. They've still got him to throw into the mix when he gets up to speed. But this starting 11 so far this season has been delivering the results. There's been no need to change that so far this season, and it's a nice problem for Corberan to have, having all these players knocking at the door as people who are eligible to come into the 11 when the time is required. In terms of points accumulated in the calendar year of 2024 so far, only Leeds United have picked up more points in the Championship than West Brom have. During this calendar year, they've picked up 46 points from 26 matches. That's an average of 1.7 points per game West Brom have been averaging in the calendar year of 2024, and if that was to be projected over an entire Championship season, that would see West Brom finishing the campaign with 81 points. Now, for me personally, one of the biggest problems that West Brom had in the Championship last season was probably their away form. At the Hawthorns, generally speaking, you expected them to win most matches, but their form away from home was pretty patchy all season long. They only picked up 26 points from the 23 away games they had in the Championship last season, only won 6 games on the road last season, but that's been completely flipped this season. Now, I know it's very early days and it's easy to get carried away at this stage of the season with how well a side has started, but they've already won 3 away matches this season. All 3 of their away games this season have all been wins so far, so they're already halfway to matching their entire win tally away from home from the entirety of last season. And you know what? Looking at the upcoming fixture list for West Brom as well, I think there's a really good chance that they build quite a bit of momentum throughout this period in September, heading into October, with upcoming games against the likes of Plymouth, Sheffield Wednesday, Middlesbrough, Millwall, Oxford, Blackburn, Cardiff and Luton. Yes, things do definitely get harder in and around November, especially those back-to-back games against Luton and Burnley. And the Championship is a baffling league where absolutely anyone can beat anyone, but I just think over these next few weeks, there is a real chance that West Brom could build some momentum, and as soon as you get off to a flying start to the season, there's every chance that you can catch fire and maintain that throughout the campaign. All of the underlying stats back up the results that West Brom have put in so far this season. There's no reason why they can't be up there. Probably my biggest concern with West Brom is actually if Corberan gets poached away. If he's doing such a good job with West Brom and a vacancy opens up in the Premier League in a few months' time, there's absolutely going to be interest there. I think he's the best manager working in the Championship right now. And if there is a top flight opportunity for him, there's every chance that his head could be turned by that. But up until this point, West Brom are absolutely flying at the moment, and there's no reason not to enjoy it right now as a Baggies fan. West Brom fans, I'd love to get some of your opinions on this one in the comments down below, though. What have you made to your start to the season? But apart from that will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next one.